Okay, 960 rematch. A very strong team captain now, Libby 736. Okay, so I've started recording. So this configuration anyway, so the bishops are like this, potentially on a3 and b3 and a2. This knight's maybe going to be a problem. King castle more easily on this side. So these bishops are on a7, a6. Okay, king castle over there. So that bishop's immediately on a6. The knight. I don't know about e5. Do I need to play e5? Can I play a hypermodern move knight g6? Just not committing yet. Maybe if d4 then e5. Trying to get the dark squares. b3 is on g7. Knight g6 hypermodern response. Okay, so d4, e5, d5. Maybe bishop c5 is on f2. Oh, it doesn't matter though. Pins the pawn to the bishop. This is tricky. How do f4 is not possible at the moment. Okay, so that's one beautiful thing about knight g6. I've suppressed f4 and h4. That rook on h1 and h4 is also suppressed. So maybe this is okay so far. e5 to come along later. Maybe d4, e5. Say takes. Oh, okay. This bishop's going to be mature. This bishop's a bit blocked in. Can the queen immediately attack e4, b5? b5. Yeah, suppresses c4 and a4 a little bit. Maybe b4 for a4, or even a6. The rook's protecting the queen. Bishop g2, I can't fianchetto against that bishop. Pawn's pinned, so maybe even f5. Don't know, so b5. Okay, b5. Pawn's protected by the rook as well, so that's good. So I'm attacking that pawn. Bishop g2, maybe e5, then d4. It's probably powerful. d4. Mind you, I don't know, d6? Take king d8. I don't think that's not bad. I'm blocking in queen. Another pawn from white. What about a developing move like f6? Fighting the bishop. c5 or rook b6 or c5. c5. That's more in the spirit of hypermodern. It's just c5, just trying to get control. Flank pawn for centre pawn of d4. c5. Play f4 though. So e5 might be useful to stop f4 here. c5, f4. Am I in trouble? Maybe e5 there. f5, knight e7. Okay. c5. Mind you, no, I need to protect that pawn. I think e6. What's this knight doing anyway, this knight? No, e5. Trying to lock down d4, and then c3. Is it worth a lockdown? Or just trying to move this knight somewhere? Knight c7. to e6. Knight c7 to e6. I think e5 just to try and lock the bishop in, provoke f5. Now also I need to protect that anyway, but f5, knight e7, bishop c5, so I have to move the knight back. Embarrassingly, you can come out again with f6 and knight f7. But I've locked out, okay, c3, maybe I can rook b7 and rook c7 or something. To be able to play check, rook c7 check. So f5, knight h5, the bishop's locked in. Okay, maybe there's knight d6 as well, nice centralising move. On e4. Try and discourage c3 and d4. Sort of Moxie bind on d4 here. f5, knight h8 then, with the idea of knight d6, f6, knight f7, or where's this bishop going? Hits a2, d5, f6, knight h8, and d5 of f5. Counter attack in the centre. That bishop supporting d5 here. Maybe d4 and c4, big queenside expansion. a7 is a bit vulnerable. The knights can't get in via g3. f5 is a bit committal, blocking in this bishop. But knight d3 here, d6, blocking the pawn, knight d3. Interesting, bishop e3. What's the idea of bishop e? Oh, knight f2. So there might be d5 or repair it like f6. To prepare d5, knight f2, d5, threatening d4. Takes, I'm opening up the d5. I think I like f6. To play d5. Queen, bishop and queen supporting d5. And then d4 would actually gain a tempo on the bishop now. So knight f2, d5. And c4 just take, so I've got c4 covered. So f5, knight e7, d5 actually. I don't need knight h8 anymore. Why was I saying knight h8 earlier? Knight e7 and then d5. Oh, knight e7, oh, the pawn, knight h8 still needed. Bishop's on that pawn. Couldn't I just castle here to put the rook protecting the pawn? Is that a legal move? Or the queen needs to move first? Okay. I don't know, d5 here, though. Takes as bishop g5, knight f6. d5 is that too loosening? With a massive pressure though. I can get away with d5. Knight h7, not attacking knight. Is the king weak on this diagonal? Probably. Maybe I need to move it away before playing the bishop h3. If I can castle. I wonder if I can castle. Nope. I can't castle. Right, okay. So d5, bishop h3. King c7. Does it matter about bishop h3? I don't think it does. Right, so d5 it is. So what's going on here? Bishop h3, king c7. Takes, knight e5, bishop f4. Is that a problem? Bishop d6. No. Okay, so king c7 there is the only move, I think. Forfeiting, castling, yeah. That was worth that break, surely. d5 looks like this diagonal's a bit weak. e4's under pressure. Diagonal's generally under pressure. The bishop would be good on d5. Central bishop hitting in all directions. In fact, fe, maybe there's d takes immediately. Well done, knight move. Knight h4, we just take it, knight moves back. Then maybe I'll just take. So yeah, I'm threatening d takes. It takes bishop d5. It looks pretty good actually. That's a skewer on both knights. The bishop just weakened the diagonal. This queen on a8 is just going down the diagonal. d3, I'm going to just take, and rook d1, take on e4. What's the team done here? Is this still holding f5, knight 7's bishop c5? Is that correct? I can just take on e4 now. Might be possible. Well, knight h8 is not too bad if you can get out with f7. Later, you sometimes get in the French defence that manoeuvre to h8 to f7. Looks to be uncomfortable pressure on white already here. I don't know about this bishop h3 idea. Doesn't look right. The whole point was to liberate the queen and just give them more targets on the diagonal. So take bishop d5 is delicious pressure on f3 and h1. Just winning a piece. Interesting. It seems I've sort of wrested the initiative here. Black pieces in 7 moves. Let's go back to d3. d3. I don't have to play d4. I'm going to just take rook d1, queen e4. Whoa! Okay, what's going on here? Trying to get queen a5s in. Maybe. I'm going to take ab, there's rook e5. There's a target. Do I need to give counterplay? I can just play b4, trying to suppress counterplay, keep the situation, the queen blocked. I think I'll just play b4. With c3 there might even be well, cb rook b4 would be even more pressure, so I think b4. Just trying to maintain this tension in the centre without leaving the queen to come to a5. Or called knight on a7, keeps the pawns intact. That would be an isolated pawn on a7. I couldn't ask for a better position with black, I think. Well, not against such a strong team captain. 2-4-8-1, Libby, who's played Fischer random before. He shows at the start of the match. So what's going on here? How can white parry central tension here. It's really kind of dangerous. This d takes e and this diagonal. So f5, knight h8. Keep protection of c5. Knight e7. Let's go into this again. f5, knight e7, bishop c5. It's not needed. D takes e. Is it? Knight moves. Knight could spring to d5. It's pointless though. I think just knight h8. Okay, so e5 is under fire. Whoa! I can play d4, just winning e4 here though. Surely bishop moves queen e4. If takes and fe. Oh, I can take and attack the knight. And keep the queen locked in. Whilst my queen is winning e4 and on the diagonal. And this is going to backfire for me. d4 keeps the queen locked in. So maybe even c3. Maybe I just play d3 or something. So I don't know, d4 and then f4 is even weaker if the bishop has to move. d4 takes not convincing bishop sack. So I think d4, just queen e4. I think taking is more fragmental, leaves e5 as a target. There might be counterplay with, well, knight h4 or something. So I think I want to keep the queen blocked. Just win e4. Why not? Can't see a problem with that at the moment. So the bishop's got more scope anyway on b3. So if c3 is bishop, oh no, rook's protecting b3. This king is not too exposed at the moment. This casting and oh no, c3. If the rook comes to c1, I think this has to move first and that has to move first before casting is possible. Okay, so queen e4 here. Bishop g2. I don't know. Bishop d5. Okay, queen e4, bishop g2 is probably the idea. That's queen. I don't know. Queen go to f5. Is that a little trap? Queen e4, bishop g2. It's not actually threatening knight d4 or anything. I'll take it. The bishop will be pinned to the knight, so maybe bishop d5. Get the bishop on this diagonal. Bishop d5. Knight d4, queen g2. There's no knight b5 or anything. So bishop d5, d3, say. And queen e2. Rook e1. I'm in trouble. Queen's getting trapped. So bishop d5, d3, queen f5. Is that a problem? The bishop's protected. Is queen f5 a problem? Doesn't look like a problem. So bishop d5. Can't see that's a problem at the moment. I hope it's not a problem. So queen f5 I hope is a safe square. Well, as the queen retreats, there was knight e5 anyway, so the queen's, I think I have to use f5. So d3, queen f5. G4 trying to win my queen, knight f4. I'll keep these pieces as spectators, this one. Spectator on d4 pawn. But queen f5, so knight h4 yet. I think knocking out e4 was important. It's good to knock out e4. Knight d4, queen g2. There's no knight e6. Knight b5. Maybe I'll even just take, or just king b6. No big deal. We get queen f5 and e4 in. No, looking pretty good. Gonna get a lot of pieces with the queen if the queen is trapped. So 43 spectators, blimey. I think it's because Libby's got a high rating, maybe that's why it's given a high profile. This game is independent of the cafe, just games to watch. So Queen F5. Oh, my Queen's trapped. I've only got Queen E2 here. I missed that. Queen E2 might be all I need. Oh, I should have looked at that. Queen E2, Rook E1, Queen H5. Forced. Queen E2. Bishop F1, Queen H5. Okay, Queen E2 is forced. Can't see any other moves for the Queen. Oh, there's Knight takes F4. Because if Bishop E4, Knight E2 is mate. Unfortunately, they just take the pawn first. They take the pawn. So Queen E2. Oh, mind you, Rook E1, Queen H5. I'm on E5, so it takes. I'm still protecting E5. There's no Rook E5 yet with Bishop G3 screwing the Queen. I need to protect E5 there. So Knight G6, Fe. I'm starting to be loose though with my king on this diagonal, but surely. Well, this bishop's in pre though as well. Knight G6, Bishop G2. There's Knight F8 though. So Knight G6, H2, Rook D5. We're protecting E5 though, so it takes. I think there's no problem here. There's no problem. Is there a problem? Seems to be in time trouble as well. Just trying to keep these pieces as spectators, so you know, if you can do that, I think that's good positional play as well in its own right. You know, bad pieces, because then you know what use is calculation if your pieces are really fundamentally bad. Like the Queen, it hasn't really got that many possibilities. Okay, so Queen H5, I think. So I can protect E5. G4 can take. Queen H5 is the only move again, I think. Cheeky Queen winning that E4 pawn. So Knight G6, HG, I'll be on the bishop. So Bishop D5, Rook D5. That looks okay. G4, Queen G4. What's the threat now against my Queen? G4, Queen G4. I'm running out of threats, surely. Knight F5. F5. Knight takes H4. Looks like a wretched pawn structure at the very least if G takes. I'll win the bishop with Bishop D5, Rook D5. G takes, wretched pawn structure again. If I can just keep this Queen blocked in, my Queen's wreaking havoc over here. What about these guys? This bishop doesn't need to do anything yet. Does this knight need to do anything? Come into the game via D6 at some point. I don't know. I think this is pretty cool. It was very promising earlier on and remains promising, it seems. Okay, I think I have to just recapture here. I can't play Knight H4, surely. So let's recapture. Don't think there's any major threat because I'm protecting E5 now anyway with the Rook. If C4, maybe I'll just ignore that. I want to keep things locked. So maybe retreat the Rook somewhere. Mind you, then Knight G6. And there's this idea of this diagonal being weak. If Fe and Rook E5 at some point. Maybe something like G4 and then Rook E5. Okay, that's the idea I think they've got. So c4 is probably going to come into this. So I think hg to try and keep an eye on, well, I'm on h2 as well. So g4, queen h2 is on the way down. I think I'll take like this. Keep the queen on h5. It's queen f3 is attacking the knight, knight f2. There's knight d6 and e4. There isn't e4 straight away, just rook e4. Well, queen f3, knight f2. Nothing breaks there, does it? Tactically. d3. I think knight d6 is looking like a good move to play e4 simply. But then I'm going to be careful. I want to keep this block against the queen. But knight d6. No, queen f3 is that more accurate. Knight f2, e4. That was knight e4. So knight d6, knight f2. I think rook e8. So use this rook. Get this rook into the game with rook. I think that has to be logical. Knight d6. It looks like a nice centralising move. Mind you, this c4 trapping the rook. Whoops. Oh dear. What have I done? That could cost the game. That sort of move. c4 maybe I just take though. Yeah, and then d3. That's alright. Just take. En passant, d3. So c4 takes d3. So rook seems a bit odd on d5 here, but I want to play e4. That'll give it this lateral movement anyway, if I can get to play e4. Okay. So queen f3 again, checking this, knight f2. Blocked out d3 for the knight though. I don't know about, what about just f5 to play e4? But then there might be a bishop sack on d4 later. I might just e takes and get a target, the f4 target. And queen f3 actually wins a pawn because knight f2, queen f4. The infiltration ranks don't look too good, so e takes looks pretty good. Queen f3. How is that knight protected? Bishop f2, queen f4. Win a pawn. Lose a bit of this grip. I think it's worth it. I'll give a target. This f4 pawn. So queen f3, double attacks. Wins a pawn. What can I do with that pawn? Queen f4, king b2 saying the rooks are connected. That's unfortunate. I have to give a bit of counter there, I think. Okay, takes queen f3, knight f2, queen f4, king b2. What would I play here? Oh, it's protecting h2. Maybe something like knight f5. There's knight e4, very nice knight on e4. Not sure I like the position as much there. Too much counterplay. This is a greedy move. What could I have done instead? Oh, they're giving up the pawn. So queen f3, knight f2, or bishop moves. Okay, what about just move f3 here? Certainly got any merit. Then knight f2, maybe f5. f3, f5, g5, g4. I'm going to get knight to e4. I'd play f5. Yeah, I don't want to give counterplay. I think f3 is probably... The queen's going to get into the game now. I can't attack the king. So I think f3 just to... maybe f5, g5, g6, bishop g7. Then later c4, open up this diagonal. So I'll do that. I think f5 will stop use of knight f2 to e4. I want g5, g6, bishop g7. At some point c4 takes in d4, screwing the queen. Okay, so f5 here opens, starts to open that diagonal. So I'll take g5, g6, bishop g7. But then, I don't know, rook e7, I've given counterplay unfortunately. Okay, I've closed off the e4 square though. Do I want to play rook e8, just get a pair of rooks off? I think getting a pair of rooks off is a good idea here. Although the queen's coming into the game as well now. Whoa! Rook e1 and the queen's into the game. Oh dear, I think I might have messed up. This is something like knight e4, brilliant move, knight e4. Trying to lock the bishops up. I'm going to play king d7, just trying to make sure the rook hasn't got e7. King d7, rook e1, maybe there's knight e4 there. Queen's going to get into the game. There's still rook e8 as well. And rook d6, bishop d6. Okay. So I've got rook e8 as an option. And knight e4 as an option. No, I haven't. Rook e8 as an option. I think just taking a rook off. Surely. Queen's still trapped at the moment. Okay, so that's taken away an active rook. Oh, the queen's coming over here. Whoa! Didn't see that one. Uh-oh. That's trouble. So knight d6, am I getting mated all of a sudden out of nowhere because of queen a4? That'd be cruel. Ah, such control all gone to waste. So knight c7, queen a4, the queen's come in. King d6. Am I keeping some squares under control here? Hopefully. I think I have to play knight c7 to avoid disaster. Immediate disaster anyway. So queen a4, king d6. Keeping an eye on e8. King d6. I don't want any other nasties springing up. I think king d6. So knight's useful on c7 at the moment, but I need to get the queen maybe back. Knight g5 to d8. Queen d7 to try and evict the queen. And get queen d7 in. I suppose an exchange attack is going to be played like rook e8, considered takes, bishop e7. I don't know, it's not as clear. These bishops, bishop and knight's not good. So if I can get just queen g8, g5 to d8, I think I'll be happy. That's queen a5 now. That's a possibility. Okay, let's get this queen back. And get it back to d8. And queen d7. Also, it's 15 minutes, so I've only got 3 minutes 16. Queen a5, queen d8. So rook e8, I can just take queen e7. That looks safe. So queen e8, queen d7 here. Maybe then knight b5 to c3. Evict the queen. Can the queen, I don't know, the rook hasn't got any easy points here. It's a double for a battery. No e2, no e3, no e4, e5, e6, e8. The queen and rook cannot be used on battery, it seems. So in other words, queen, if I can get queen d8 to d7, that's going to start to look good. Oh! Whoa! Ah, knight f4. Ouch. Ouch. Is it too late to get an exchange sack then? Queen d8, knight f4, wins at least g6. Ouch. Oh dear, this gets worse. Oh dear, my king's going to have to take on d5 or something. There's queen d2 here, attacking the rook. Queen d2 attacks the rook, and then queen... I think maybe queen d2. I'll see where that rook's going. So knight f4, I might take on e1. Rook moves queen c3, bishop e7 to f6, knight f4. I've got to get the rook off here. This is only open line. If I can get the rook off there, surely. No, the rook's not going, but the knight's now tied down. So I don't know. Bishop e7. This might be rook e7. Knight f4. Knight d5. Knight d5. No, I don't want to keep. If I go check for a second. If I just go check, and then king moves, and then let's throw in the check. So king moves there, queen c2. Otherwise rook e5. No, that's not so much point to that. There's knight e6 now, there's queen e8. There's bishop e7. Knight b5, queen b5, queen a1. Bishop e7, knight f4, bishop g5 now. I think that's good. So I can pin that pesky knight, I hope, without total disaster. So knight f4, bishop g5. So I've really got 1 minute 49 now. We're playing for a 15-minute rule. Let's see him. So knight f4, bishop g5. But what am I doing here? What am I doing? Rook e5 takes queen c6. Bishop d6. Maybe queen b6. Oh, that's dangerous for the perpetuals and stuff. c4 takes knight b5. Takes the rook, knight e3. I'm just dreaming here because it takes the knight. But the idea, I don't know. Okay, couldn't I just... Oh, my king's in trouble. Oh dear. How about f4 here? Knight f4, bishop g5. I think I have to play f4, blocking in. Oh, this isn't pleasant. But if I can get to play g5, that would be good. So knight f4, bishop g5, bishop g3. Oh, there's knight. There might be knight e6. I'll be threatening bishop f4 and queen e1. Pardon me. So 1 minute 31. So knight f4, bishop g5, bishop g3. There isn't bishop f4. Maybe there's queen e1, bishop e1, bishop f4. King moves, bishop. Oh no, the pawn's not that dangerous. Bishop g3, there's knight e6. Queen e8, knight f4. I'm getting mated. So maybe here. No, don't like the position. Only got 1 minute 31. What can I do here? If I can get to play g5, that'll be safer. So knight f4, bishop g5, bishop g3. That's Fenk. Bishop g3, knight e6. There's queen e8 or something. Oh, queen's come off e8. What's going on? Can I just play g5? What's the threat? I can't see it. Oh, rook e7, queen c7. Ah. Okay, so rook e7. So what about bishop f6? Just taking away that threat. There's also c4 now. This is a cheeky move. 1 minute 7 though. This drains my time a bit. G5, bishop g5. And keep that line closed. Knight g5, rook g5. I'm going to play g5. Oh, Gould and Bennett. Okay, f2. Nope. My queen's just been trapped. What about c4? Just attacking the queen. Oh dear. This is getting exciting. A bit too exciting. Rook d5, knight d5. 4 minutes 24 against 50 seconds. But there's, I don't know, there's always f2. No, my queen's fundamentally trapped, which is a shame. Is it rook a5? f2 first. Oh dear, what a mess. Give up queen for nothing. Disaster. Struck. "24 seconds I've lost." This is knight d4, knight e2, knight d4. Keep getting my queen trapped. I don't know, knight d4. King move. 13 seconds. I've lost some time anyway. Wonder if they're going to claim on time. Unless I can get in knight b3. Knight e3. Did I mention to the team about the time limit? Anyway, should I just play on? I'm not sure. I negotiated 15 minutes. Could force them to try and find a win on the game position. Still looks a bit scary. I don't know. See, knight e2. They're giving up that rook because otherwise knight e2, knight d4. Got knight a1 here. I think, yeah, they just take. Whoa. Whoa. Can't now counterplay. Okay. Comments or questions on YouTube. An exciting game there. My first Fischer random consultation game that I've lost, unfortunately. Oh well.